Okay, it's a new day here at the Motor Spirit headquarters, if you like. I had to get quite a bit done yesterday without filming because there was quite a few people in the garage. And besides me getting camera shy, there was a lot of stuff going on that just would have been a bit of a cluster. So I managed to get quite a bit done. It took me quite a bit of time, but I finally made up the full bracket for the swirl pots, that's nice and solid, and a bracket for the pumps, so they're nice and solid. And I got some of the plumbing done, but mainly the short runs between the pumps and the swirl pot itself. I've had to order a few more fittings because I got the wrong, well, I didn't get the wrong ones. I just was planning on going in the trunk, in the boot, instead of on the side. But you can see, you know, it all fits quite well. What I'm going to do shortly is pull it all apart because the brackets that I made I need to paint because they'll just rust. Get them in paint, and then I've got to plumb up a few more lines, so I can plumb up all the lines basically from the engine, so the return to the swirl pot and the feed pump into the engine, but unfortunately I haven't got enough line to run the return from the swirl pot to the tank, and I've got the wrong fittings to go from here up to the feed pump here. So what I need is a 90-degree fitting, which I've ordered, and a 45-degree fitting. That's just going to loop down into the 90 there to keep that nice and tidy. But I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. It looks quite neat. I was worried it was just going to be a cluster of hoses like a snake's wedding, but no, it's all right. It looks all right. Hopefully it'll work. That's the next thing. I'm sure it will, but I need to wait till it's fully wired up properly to do that. So I'm going to get that done. We'll get them brackets painted and the lines made. And then the other thing that I want to get done today, so obviously I've blanked off headlights and things. I've got no forward-facing lights, and new regulations have come in for this year's season, which state that we need some kind of forward-facing light. So I bought a couple of LED fog lamps. In fact, yeah, so I can't remember, quite a few episodes ago we talked about putting some fog lights in here when I fitted these brake ducts. Now the ones I bought originally were these like little cheap Chinese plastic lights, and when I plugged them into a battery, like it wasn't even bright enough to like make me squint my face, you know. They were pretty shit, to be honest. So what I did was I've measured out the space, measured this space here as a square, and I've managed to find the biggest LED lamp that I can to fit in there. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to squeeze some massive LEDs in there. I'll grab one now. Right, so these are the LEDs, or the fog lights. You can see they're pretty humongous. It's all metal. They've got a really good, nice weight to them. I've not plugged them in yet, but they just seem loads better than them other ones I bought. They've got some weight. Yeah, stuff that I've already said. So yeah, they're pretty much going to sit in there, and you can see they literally will just fit in that space, and they'll take up that space nicely. Now, the thing that I'm going to have to try and work out is, well, it's not actually been that bad, is trying to get them as forward facing as possible. I do want them facing outwards a little bit to cover the sides, you know, so I get a good sort of coverage of light. But if they're sat flat, then they're just going to be angled outwards. It look a bit weird. So I'm going to have to try and recess them in, or sit them so they're straight, which shouldn't be too difficult because I've got a bit of depth there to play with, so I can you know, have one side almost flush against the plate and the other side will be protruding through just to push it forward a bit. So that should be fine. So that's the plan for today. I don't want to be working all night. I was here until I think 8 o'clock yesterday night, or 7 o'clock yesterday night. Yeah, it's a weekend now, and I just need a bit of chill out time. Right, yeah, so enough talking, let's get on with it. the lines made up that I can make. So we've just got the return and feed to the engines, so they come obviously out the swirl pot and around to the well, from the engine to the swirl pot, and then from the sort of feed pump, the main feed pump, down to the engine. So I'm looping around the tank just because the way this is all set up, it has to push out that way and around just to keep it all neat and not have any too tight bends. So the lines are made. Now I'm just going to P-clip them up and make them nice and tidy, get them up nice and tight against the frame and out of the way of everything. Yeah, and that's that really. So only a few P-clips, and I'll just zip tie the actual, what do you call them, hoses to themselves. Yeah, pretty simple. Alrighty, that's the lines plumbed up and fixed away, so that's pretty much it really. When it comes to the return line from the tank, I'll just follow suit and zip tie it along, probably try and come along the top if I can, and then straight up to the return on the tank. But I'm quite happy with that, it looks pretty smart, not too messy. Right, so now I'm going to crack on with getting these brackets off and give them a lick of paint. And that will be that. And I think that's as far as I can go with the tank. I'll wire up the feed pump, and then what I'll probably do just for the sake of getting the car running and tested is just splice a couple of wires across to the feed pump, the main feed pump. Yeah, just to make sure we haven't got any leaks and to make sure that everything works. Okay guys, I've pulled the brackets off, and then I'm paint. I've got 3 licks of paint on there, so hopefully once they're dried they should be okay to go back on. So whilst that's drying, I've just been getting the bumper ready to fit these fog lights. So just marked out my area. I've measured the fog light itself, or the whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so it's 107mm square with rounded edge. So I'm going to drill out the corners to give us a nice rounded edge. Excuse me. And then we'll cut it out with a Dremel, and then we'll start working out how we're going to actually mount it into that space, and try and get an angle right so it'll pretty much face where I want it. I do want it facing obviously forwards, but also out to the sides as well. It doesn't really matter, I just want it to look as straight as it can. Yeah, so I'm going to do that now, and we'll see how it turns out. So that's the plate cutout. As you can see, I've got some cutting out to do with the bumper as well, so I'll do that now. But yeah, then I'll round off the corners and we'll see if it will fit. Alright, that's the whole cut. It's pretty tight, and I'm debating whether to open it out anymore because it just gives me the right sort of angle the way it is now. If I slip that side through and just press the other side up against like that, I think, yeah, it's pretty much there. So like that, I mean, you can just about see along the side of the car, it's almost facing forward, pointing outwards slightly. And then when the bumper actually sits where it's meant to sit, it will sit fairly upright as well. Oh my god, I tried taking one out and playing with it so I could make it adjustable, but well, I still am running into serious time of the day. But there they are, they're mounted up. They look a bit wonky, but it's because it's a bit weird, but maybe they are a bit wonky, but they kind of look alright, as in the actual positioning. But yeah, that's them in. I've wrapped them yellow, as you can see. I'm just going to, not today, but down the line, I'll just seal them in and just touch in the bits of bare aluminium. But yeah, I think that looks pretty damn sweet. Okay, so whilst I've spent the past fucking 12 hours doing that, the paint's now drying them brackets, so I'm going to throw all the fuel system back together, hopefully for the last time. Yeah, and then I'm done for the day. I'm late for stuff, so yeah, I'll do that now quickly, and then I'll give you a quick rundown afterwards of what I've done. You've already seen it all together, so I won't go through that again, and I'll see you in a minute. Oh my god, that was a proper rush to get that done, but all the fuel systems back in, and I've tidied up, and that was it. Yeah, sorry, I'm in a right rush because I've got to be somewhere, so yeah, thanks very much. Now, thanks for watching, guys, as always. Yeah, hopefully got some pretty cool bits out of the way, so all I've got left to do with the fuel system is plumb in 2 more lines, which is the main feed line and the return to the tank line, so I'm just waiting for a couple of fittings. Then I'll wire up the pumps and we can get that tested. Still got to do the exhaust, but I'm waiting for them bits to turn up as well, and clearly I've run out of time. But the fog lights are in and they look pretty sweet. I'm really happy with them. They look cool as. So yeah, with the fog lights, they've still got to be obviously wired up, but I'll leave that to the wiring job when that comes in a few weeks. And I need to sort the handbrake out after losing one of the cables. I should be able to sort it out, so I can still just use it as a stage and brake off the line. And that's it. So I guess until next time, really. Don't forget to give us a look up on Facebook at Team Motorspirit, and give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.